I've missed something here, haven't I? I've not even realised this is a go-home show, isn't it? Because we do have a PLE coming up, don't we? Is it Heatwave? It's that one, isn't it? Heatwave. And for a go-home show, it weren't all that good, really, NXT. It was better last week. This week, I'm not so sure. I mean, when you start with a Philly street fight and it's Inamura versus Briggs, you're going to expect something really good. But it wasn't. They tended to fiddle around with tables quite a lot. In that, Inamura set up a table, punched Briggs, who sort of wandered over and got onto the table. Now, here's where I walk over to the table and get on it. It really looked obvious. He didn't even pinwheel over to it or anything. It was just, I placed myself delicately on the table, and of course he suffers a splash through the table for a 2.999 recurring. Then Inamura gets 2 more tables. Enough with the tables, mate. When I said get the tables, I didn't say it 3 times. There is a tug of war with the table, which I've not often seen, and then it's slammed into the twig and berries area. It probably hit both twig and berries of Inamura by Briggs. Briggs has apparently got a loaded arm. He's got a chain round it or something, because of course it's perfectly legal in a Philly street fight. They are in the city of brotherly love, yes. And he hits a clothesline with that, and a nice moonsault through the table and Inamura, and he gets the pin. Right, can I just ask you, NXT Brass, you've been pushing Inamura, for some short time. You've put him in with Obafemi, and he's come up short. But then people tend to with Obafemi, and he really took him into fairly deep water. Okay, he hasn't got the talking sorted yet, but what you've got with Briggs is that he is facilitating the push for Inamura, isn't he? Inamura's going to be something special. That's what it appeared to be for me. So I'm just wondering, why in the hell you decided to have him lose this match? What will it do for Mr. Briggs? Is he going anywhere? No, he's only featured in this storyline really recently. Inamura appears to be talked up all the time, and should be, because he looks pretty special in the wrestling ring, really. He needs to get his talking up, but there you go. So I'm just wondering whether you've got some fantastic plan, of which this is the first small part. It's going to run all year, and to facilitate that marvellous plan, you needed him to lose. You haven't, have you, NXT? You haven't, WWE. Maybe you did this just to surprise people, but it buried Inamura, quite literally, in the shards of a table, and it was nonsense. And so was Ricky Saints versus Jasper Troy. Bloody hell. I mean, he's really come down since he arrived, hasn't he? Ricky Saints, that's another burying, isn't it? You put the title on him, you took it off him, you're now having him fight Jasper Troy. People don't really care about Jasper Troy. He was pushed into the main event far too early, and the crowd are absolutely silent. I mean, there's stuff outside the ring with Troy missing a senton onto the ring steps, and then very nice Ricky Saints tornado DDT with which he uses, or for which he uses, the apron. That's lovely. And then he gets one in the ring, and there's a pin. So the tornado DDTs, both of them look rather good, but what was the point of it? This is bad for Ricky Saints, and I'd be knocking on Shawn Michaels' door. Mind you, won't be there, will he? Or maybe he's hiding in the wardrobe again, or something like that in his office. Or maybe go to Ava, because she won't do anything, will she? She is in this episode this week, and is quite specific, and makes a match for Heatwave. But why would you bother with that character anymore? No point. Anyway, Fatal Influence are facing the Elegance brand. But before we get there, actually, we've got finally the meeting of Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. Now, you'd expect Jordynne Grace to go after Monroe, wouldn't you? But no, they're standing there trading insults. Jordynne Grace thinks that Ms. Monroe is jealous because she's done better at TNA than she did in Evolution. And then Monroe gets back on top. She's got better speaking. And she goads her. She's got 3 well-built security guys with her. And Jordynne Grace beats them all up. We've seen it before, and it was boring. Way to introduce a new talent, eh? You've done it with Ricky Saints. Now you're going to bury Blake Monroe. Okay. Now let's get to Fatal Influence versus... what's it called? What's it what they called? The Elegance brand, that's right. It's Heather, M and Ash. Now this was alright actually. So you've got Jordynne Grace putting Ash down and giving Heather a neck breaker. There's a super kick and a cannonball and a senton from the second rope. That's lovely. Double snap there, big kick from Fatal Influence, I think, if I remember rightly. And then Jasmine Nick super kicked a Falcon Arrow into a double stomp from M and an Ash Meteora. It was good action. And then I like the way that Henley pushed Ash back first into the announce table and then leapt on her to smack around a bit. Meanwhile, in the ring, there's a swanton, but no ref. And I think it was Henley who kicked out at 2.999 recurring. Jane suddenly tagged in. I don't know if she's legal. I don't think anybody really cares. Hits a massive clothesline, gets the pin. I mean, it meant nothing, but at least it was fun. This wasn't. It's the USA versus Canada. Peace deal. Oh dear. I just, don't know why nobody did a Donald Trump impression. I do not know. Maybe they couldn't do it. Fantastic. Greatest impression ever. No one's ever done a better impression than this one. And, Tyra May Steele at least shows she's got some mic skills. And Tavion uses the cheap Philly pop. And although he goes for it, in Philly, where they love to fight, the city of brotherly love, Philly. Yes, I said Philly. There's a really muted response to that. Either they hate their own city, or Tavion Heights is not over. I suspect it's the second of the two. But I love the way that Ethan Page, leaning into the kind of Canadians are nicer, uses the word cockamamie. It's a word I use myself. And Ava's out, and they'll have a mixed tag match at Heatwave, and then they fight. And Ethan Page hits first because he's a Canadian with a bad attitude, folks. Oh dear, just terrible, really. And Obafemi's overlooking this. I wish I could have done overlooking this match, which didn't really. This main event between Javon Evans and Trick Williams for the number 1 contendership didn't really gel. I'm a bit surprised actually. Trick attacked early and went for some covers and some big slams, a couple of them. We've got Javon Evans trash talking, hitting a slingshot Rana, Hurricane Rana, big chop from Trick, a return big chop from Evans, and then Evans off the top clothesline and swan dive. I did like the way that he pushed him. Trick pushed Evans backwards off the top rope through the announce table. We got a holy shit chant for that, but as one of the commentary team, it might have been Vic mentions not being able to walk when you're 40. Yeah, that's something you got to watch. Cheap popping for the crowd because the angles aren't good enough or they haven't really wrangled anything is the problem, isn't it? When you've got both of those things, good angles, good writing, and those big spots, you've got ECW. Remember how hot that was? Now, we've got a pop-up punch from... Javon Evans comes back and hits a dive over the top, a suplex and a frog splash. So he seems all right at the moment. But Trick's got his pop-up punch. There's a super kick from Javon Evans, an enziguri, rock bottom as they call it. It's not an enziguri. What's it called? Uranagi. A uranagi. I should have just called it a rock bottom. From Trick, and then the spinning kick. And then he pulls him into a fireman's carry. And you think something's going to be good because he's pulled him into that, which looks good. And then just drops him to the mat. What's the point of that? Trick's then ready for the trick shot. And then sees Mike Santana in the crowd, spotlighted so that you can see him. Obviously that distracts him. He walks into a cutter, and then the second rope cutter from Jovan Evans, and he gets the pin. He is the number 1 contender, and it will be a big man versus speed match at Heatwave, which will be good. And the PLEs are good for NXT, aren't they? No matter how poor the card is, the PLEs always seem to be good. But the week-to-week programming doesn't. And after last week's blip, this one was poor again. You've got matches that don't matter. The Fatal Influence match, Saints versus Jasper Troy, didn't matter. Or they don't get the matches correct when they do matter, like Briggs versus Inamura. You've got it wrong. And then we've got the peace deal in the middle of that, and a main event that was okay, but just wasn't enough. I know I sound like I'm being curmudgeonly, but I have to watch this nonsense every week. Just so you don't have to. Ta-ta.